Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time it is that you've chosen to tune in to It's Naturally Nat. Well, we had a good snowfall last week. The holidays are kicking. I've started baking. I don't know about you, but I started making holiday treat plates, which is what this little note is behind me. It's to remind me who hasn't had a treat plate yet. And I'm surprised not very many people do that anymore. My grandmothers did that. My mom did it until, well, she still does it, I think. I know a lot of people's moms and grandmas did it, but not too many people do that. And it's pretty simple, really. You just make a variety of sweet or salty goods that you enjoy and you know others would enjoy. You find some kind of festive paper plates and doll them up a little bit with doilies or with napkins or whatnot. Get that wrappable plastic wrap like this that keeps everything in place, throw a bow on it, and you've made somebody's day. Whether it be the custodian that you always talk to and you ask favors from at work, or your neighbor, right? I made this one here, in fact, is going to be for my little 88-year-old neighbor who lives at the end of the block, who likes to take out his little tractor and shovel the sidewalks for everybody in the block, which is really nice. He well deserves this. But I made a bigger one for my older neighbors, Ed and Marion, across the street, who are turning 91, in fact, this month. And I'll have a fun cooking video that I'll dedicate to them. I'll make something and bring it over to their house for their birthday here coming up this December, this month. So today I'm making a fun little dish that you can make with little kids. You can make it for yourself. I didn't grow up with this little snacky dish that can go in a snacky plate. I didn't grow up with this dish that I'm going to show you today, but my neighbor used to make this in my old house, and I loved it. It was so good. She gave me some for Christmas one year in a little Christmas tin, and what it is just, and I don't even think it has a name, is just Ritz-like crackers that you slather with peanut butter. You dunk them in chocolate. You let them dry on a tray. You decorate them, if you will, and man, are they good. And you don't even touch the oven, right? So if you live in an apartment, or you have a janky oven, or you just don't feel like baking, but you feel like making a treat, you can make this. All you need is just a few things. And they stay nice for a while on a little tray like this. If you're going to give this away, I'm going to give this away this afternoon when I finish making this video, in fact. But if they're around the house, whether BM's around or Daniel's around, man, do they go fast. So I was going to say, they don't get stale quickly like some candies and cookies do. But then I've never had them last more than 2 days. So let's go ahead and get started. So what you're going to need for this dish is super easy. Some semi-sweet chocolate, chips, you know, whatever's your favorite brand. I got no-namers here. And you're going to go ahead and temper the chocolate. This is super easy to do. In fact, I'm going to temper the white with you so you can see how I did this in a little bit. You're going to need some white chocolate, and I just get this kind, the bark. It comes in like a sheet of like 6 or 7 of these, and I think this is just as good as buying something fast or fancy for white chocolate, and this keeps forever. And you're going to want to cut up about yay much, right? I'll put in the show notes about how much, but this isn't very much because I'm not making very many. This is like maybe a half cup. And I have more of this. This was maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips. Then you're going to need a good peanut butter. I like using it, or organic peanut butter, right? And these crackers, that's all you need. If you want to fancy-fy them up a little bit, you can use these jimmies, I believe is the technical name for these. These are really pretty. They look like little pearls. You kind of have to tap them gently with your finger, or they tend to not want to stick. If you have an offset spatula, that's key too, although you can just use a regular spatula. Okay? So again, this is a fun thing to do with little kids because nobody's going to get burned. You don't have to worry about that. There'll probably be lots of little fingers going in mouths, though, because everything's tasty that we're working with. The only thing is you might get a little dirty doing this. Making these today, I tend to get chocolate up in my fingernails. You're going to get your hands dirty, so just be prepared afterwards to have a nail brush to do your clean your nails with, because you'll get chocolate up your fingernails. I know I always do. It's a pretty hands-on dish. So we're going to go ahead and put the little tops on these. And I'm putting on, oh, I don't know, I'd say a half teaspoon maybe of peanut butter. You don't want too much or they'll slip and slide when you dunk them into the chocolate, when you coat them. And you don't want too little, because too little of peanut butter is a sad thing. And you're going to want a cookie sheet, somewhere to set these once they're firming up. And I use wax paper or parchment paper. Today I got both on this thing. Once you're done, you're going to want to put them in the refrigerator for only about 10 minutes, and then they'll be completely firmed up and ready to eat. Another thing that you need, my bad, I forgot. I'm kind of a salty girl. I'm not a sweet tooth, and I was thrilled, by the way, with the last video last Sunday. How many people? I had a couple hundred people watch that salty snack video, right? So I know there's other salties like me out there. So anyway, getting to what we need with this. Some coarse ground salt or some fleur de sel to sprinkle on this once you dunk them is a must. Okay, so I got all these, and I got my chocolate that I went ahead, and it's getting a little bit heavy. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little blast. I counted. I gave it 4 blasts of 20 seconds, 25 seconds each time, and then a stir to have this chocolate tempered. And really, you can't go wrong with the chocolate. The only thing that you can go wrong is accidentally have some water going into it. That will ruin it. That will make your chocolate seize. And I had that happen one time. Oh, probably 15 years ago when I first started making chocolates. And that's not great. Other than that, though, if you just do what I did, give it a little zhug. Another thing you can do is you can put just a little bit of vegetable oil in here. By a little bit, I mean like a quarter of a teaspoon is all you want to make it smoothly dunkable. Then we're going to want to take these little sandwiches that we made and go ahead and just ploop it in your chocolate. And just get chocolate all around it like that. Got that? Got Rosie down below because she thinks she wants one, but you absolutely cannot have one, Rose. You're going to use your fingers, right? So make sure your hands are nice and clean. And then you're just going to pop them down like that. And I'll go ahead and dunk these other ones. Now you could make a lot of these, but you're going to be running to the microwave to reheat the chocolate a couple times. So I never made these in batches bigger than about a dozen, because when I'm making a little snack treat plate, I only put about 2 or 3 of these on here. Namely because if BM or Daniel are around, they start getting crybaby about wanting to save some of these for themselves to be eaten, because they really are that good. And then I'm going to hit, once I get these done, I'm going to hit these up with some coarse salt, fleur de sel that I happen to have on hand. Now, why the salt? Do you want the salt to even out the flavor, to bring out the sweet? I say no, that's not its purpose. You want the salt because you want the salt. You want to taste it. You don't want to get light-handed with that. See what I'm saying? You're gonna get messy. The salt does more than just bring out the sweet. The salt's necessary because you got the peanut butter in there, right? Now, you could use regular salt, table salt, but why? You want the coarse salt, or fleur de sel, to show. It's pretty, and this is a holiday kind of treat. Plop that in there. As you can see, I'm getting this. You go through this pretty quickly, and that's probably a good thing, because I'm not really sure why What always causes chocolate to seize? I've only had it happen to me one time. Knock on wood. But maybe overheating many times could be something you don't want to do anyway, which I'm not going to have to worry about too much because I'm almost out of chocolate. But I made a good guess call to figure that 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips, woo, would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty good call there. Barely 7. I don't know if we're going to have enough chocolate. We might have to heat up some more, but if that's the case, I probably won't bore you off camera with this. I've also seen people melt peanut butter chips into this chocolate before doing this. I've never done that, so I can't vouch if that sets up correctly. My guess is that might be a little bit iffy because you have so much fat then. I don't know how that would set up. Maybe you put them in the refrigerator for longer than I would do for these. Now I'm going to wash my hands real quick, and I'll be right back. Then, once we put the salt on there, boy, Rosie just thinks she's going to get some of this. And Rosie, my dear, this is not a dog-friendly dish. Okay. We're going to get the salt. Here's my fleur de sel. Probably pronouncing that wrong. Okay, but you could also just use kosher salt. That would work just as fine. This just is a little more sparkly like diamonds. So I'll put a little bit on there. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do, once these kind of, not seize up, that's the wrong word I'm looking for, set up, you could just eat them right away and then one full. But since these are going to go into holiday gift trays, right, you want them to be kind of fancy and it's a holiday. So I got my chopped up shards of white chocolate bark in here. I'm going to blast it. You're going to hear me in at the microwave for 20 seconds. Let's count and see how many takes it does to get this melted. What do you think, Rosie? Here's my first round. And all you have to remember when you're tempering chocolate, whether it be chocolate bark, almond bark, or chocolate chips, or chocolate bark, is not to go too long on the microwave and to know how your microwave behaves. I used to have an old tanker of microwave that finally I got rid of that had a real high voltage, or whatever you call it, wattage or whatever, and it would literally fry everything. I'm glad I got rid of that one. This one's a much smaller microwave, and not sure what its wattage or its capacity is or whatever you want to call that, but it doesn't seem to just totally knock out my chocolate. Now see, the first couple blasts, you're like, what am I doing? It's not really melted. That's okay. You want to take your time tempering chocolate. I was reading online that people still temper their chocolate above boiling water in a double boiler. I never did that growing up, and neither did my mom, really. But that's a good way to do it, too. This is just easier and less to clean up. Right, Rosie? Are you being a good girl? And it's less to clean up this way. So if you don't have a microwave, yeah, you could do it in a double boiler, or you could do a saucepan, put water in it, bring it to a boil, put a heat-resistant, or heat-safe, I should say, glass bowl on top of that, and put your chocolate in there and just slowly stir it while the water boils underneath it. Same thing. So you don't have to have a microwave to do this. That's my second blasting. Now I can feel the, here we go. Oh, don't mind the chocolate on I didn't do such a good job washing my hands, but I knew I was going to get chocolate on them again when I finished doing this, so pardon my chocolate fingers. See how this is starting to come together after 2 blastings, or whatever you want to call it. Microwaving sessions, I guess. Here's a third. And I'm going to go 25 seconds. One more blast of heat should do it for this white chocolate. And then we're going to decorate these puppies. I've got a couple recipes kind of like this that I'll try to quickly do for you in the next couple weeks coming up, because they are just so festive and Christmassy and New Year's-ish, and they're all no-bake, so be tuning in to watch those coming up. Ooh, we're almost there. I think we might already be there. Ooh. Now, to decorate these little chocolate sandwich cookies, I don't even know if they have a name. We need this to be a little thinner. You see how it's kind of thick? So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some neutral oil. I got a little grapeseed oil here. And I just squeezed in about a 1/4 teaspoon. Oh yeah, now I'm talking. You don't want it runny, you just want it drizzleable. Is that a word? Yeah. Now, where you could get into some thin ice is by, like, don't go too many times. It's better to go too few times with the microwave. And what did we do? 3 little blasts. And there's like a small chunk of white chocolate, but it'll eventually melt. You can use a toothpick with this stage, or you can just use your spoon, but what we want is to get it drizzly like this. And, woo! There's no right way and there's no wrong way. There's just whatever way that you feel like. I like going back and forth. If it were almost too thin, if you will, I would use a toothpick, but I think this is perfect. Come on. There we go. Oh, so pretty. At this point, but I don't know if this would really show, a little bit of colored sugar would look nice, maybe. Let's try on one. Oh, pretty. Okay. Okay. And then I'll pop these into the refrigerator for 10-15 minutes, and they will be set up and ready to eat. Doesn't that look good? Just that little step of the drizzled white bark, and yeah, the white bark drizzled over a little bit of the colored sugar makes this really a pretty, like you went to a fancy, what's the word, confectionery shop? Is that the word? That's kind of what it takes this to, and really makes it pretty. So try making this at home before the holidays. See how long they last around your house. I'm going to guarantee you they're not going to last long at all. If you like and subscribe my channel, that really helps me out. I appreciate that. But if you have time, and you only need a little bit of time, make something like this for one of your neighbors or somebody. I gave one of these to somebody I know who lost their spouse not that long ago, and I thought might be feeling a little sad over the holidays. And that person said this made their day. So if you have a little time to make a little extra, share that with somebody. It doesn't have to be your best friend. It can be a neighbor or somebody you work with. It makes their day. Makes them feel good. Reminds them of maybe better times and happier times. So make these. Subscribe to my channel. I've been pretty regular about dropping videos on Sunday and sometimes during the midweek. Like and subscribe. Leave me a comment in the comments. I really appreciate that. And I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you're at. And I'll see you next time.